evening. I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Bristol, Virginia City Council. Today is Tuesday, April 22nd, 2025. To start us off, we'll have a moment of silent prayer. Please join me in saying for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, good evening. It's good to see a nice crowd here tonight. I hope everyone had a wonderful Easter weekend with your at your church or with your families. I know we also had a great event in the park for all the kids on Saturday morning, so I'd just like to thank our Parks and Rec team for all the work that they put into that. And I will open it up for any other comments.
Well, thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to add, several of our students are starting SOL testing this week if they haven't already. No, that's a lot of pressure, a lot of high stakes there. So
Well, also want to thank our Public Works Department. I know they've been busy over the past couple of weeks as people are getting geared up for spring, and they're doing everything they can to stay on top of all of the brush and leaves, or not leaves, but brush has been put out, and the trash that has been gathered, so they were working hard to stay caught up with that. Emotional and physical effects that have lasting consequences for victims of abuse. During the month of April, we recognize National Child Abuse Prevention Month and the importance of our organizations, agencies, and individuals who work together to prevent child abuse. We encourage our community to work together to increase awareness of child abuse and to help prevent child abuse. Also, we encourage anyone who witnesses child abuse to report the matter to local authorities.
All right, thank you. All right, I'm looking for a council motion and second.
I move for approval of the proclamation as presented.
Would that be by full or
By
caption only?
caption
I'm sorry. Okay.
second.
All right, we have a motion by caption only and a second. Any discussion? I'll just say, I know this is very important to me. I serve on the Department of Social Services.
Prevention Month.
All right, and I believe Kathy Rourke, are you here? Yeah, I know you're here for another reason as well, but I know the work that you do is so important. And would you like 2025-2026 budget? I will now open the public hearing. We have one person signed up for public comment. And as I ask you to come up, if you will have 3 minutes, and you'll have a green light and then a warning light, and then the red light means.
So please know how grateful we are for your continued support and investment in your community. Beyond tonight's funding discussion, I want to take an opportunity to share some concerns that are looming on the horizon for community services boards statewide. We are closely watching for any developments and will work to establish an emergency plan should any of these developments have significant impact on our operations. Avoiding service and employment disruptions will be our primary goals, but a financial impact from any of these could be significant. In partnership, I want to make sure that you're aware of these in advance so that we can look towards creative solutions together if necessary over the coming fiscal year. So from a state perspective, that 10% local funding match is something that you've heard me reference in here before, even before tonight. However, emphasis on this code mandate is ramping up statewide. Senator Creed chairs the Behavioral Health Commission and has taken this topic as his next mission to track and enforce compliance by localities who do not contribute their allocation toward the code required match. Currently, in the code, the onus for either meeting or requesting a temporary waiver regarding the match requirement sits with the CSBs, with collaboration from their localities to establish local hardships. This process has already begun to change, and waivers are much more difficult to obtain or are being denied currently. This is expected to become increasingly difficult moving forward. If that should occur, that puts all of my state funding at risk, which is nearly a third of my budget. The domino impact then becomes our inability to perform the functions of a CSB because we can't provide the mandated services. Additionally, new language is currently working its way through final steps that establishes the inability for new state dollars to supplant existing contributions from local governments to CSBs. So through enhanced monitoring of local contributions beginning July 1st, if local contributions should be reduced after new state dollars have been allocated for an award, then that new state funding has to be forfeited by the CSBs to the degree that the local funds were reduced. Extreme hardship is the language being used, must be proven by the locality in one of three ways, in terms of either reductions in employment, per capita income, or property values. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right, I'll now turn it over to Mr. Eads for a staff report.
Council, pursuant to Section 15.2-2506 of the Code of Virginia, the notice of public hearing for the proposed fiscal year 2025-2026 budget was published in the Bristol Herald-Courier on Saturday, April 12, 2025. A copy of the ad and the budget synopsis is attached. The budget synopsis includes a $95,298,016 of total revenue for the general fund, and includes the same amount for expenditures in the general fund. However, the total budget, which includes several different other line items, including the school, the total budget amount is $164,993,978.
All right, thank you. And I will now close the public hearing and move to item number 4, the second public hearing for year 2025 HUD Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, Annual Action Plan, and 5-year Consolidation Plan. I'll now open the public hearing.
I think you may have a different sheet. We're going to go to the public hearing for budget fiscal year 25-26 budget appropriation ordinance.
Okay, sorry about that.
There's 2 budget public hearings.
Got you. Okay. Yes. So I will now open the public hearing for the budget for year 2025-2026 budget appropriation ordinance. No one has signed up for public comment, and I'll turn it back over to you, Randy. Sorry about that.
That's okay. Pursuant to Section 10.04 of the City Code of Bristol, Virginia, Council will hold at least one public hearing on the appropriation ordinance, which is attached. The notice of public hearing for the fiscal year 2025-2026 budget appropriation ordinance was published in the Bristol Herald-Courier on Saturday, April 12, 2025.
All right, thank you. And I will now close the public hearing. Now moving to item number 4, second public hearing for your 2025 HUD Community Development Block Grant, CDBG Annual Action Plan, and 5-year Consolidation Plan. I'll now open the public hearing. We have several signed up for public comment. So as I call your name, if you will come up and, as I said before, state your name and address, you will have 3 minutes with a green light, a yellow warning light, and red means your time is up. First person on the list is Laura Kelly.
Good evening, city leaders. My name's Laura Kelly, residing at 510 West Poplar Street in Johnson City, but I'm here representing Holston Habitat for Humanity. I serve as the executive director, and Holston Habitat for Humanity has been serving the greater Tri-Cities region for 40 years. Founded in 1985, our service area is Sullivan, Carter, Washington, Unicoi counties, as well as Bristol, Virginia. Our mission is to put God's love into action, bring people together to build homes, communities, and hope. And our vision is that everybody deserves a decent place to live. And it feels like maybe now more than ever, this is a topic and an issue that all of us can feel and see, the topic of affordable housing, stable housing, safe housing. So I wanted to underscore our application for CDBG funds in this current upcoming fiscal year. Holston Habitat's request for funding is $35,000 to be used for critical home repair projects. Holston Habitat has experience administering these types of grant funding. We currently receive CDBG funds from the City of Johnson City as well as the City of Kingsport, and we also participate in the home consortium funds by using those funds for down payment assistance for our new home or home ownership program. So we are staffed adequately to service this funding well. So what we would plan to do with a $35,000 request is to serve between 5 and 10 families with critical home repairs. That number of families isn't definitive until we get the applications in hand, but the types of repairs that we complete include roofs and wheelchair ramps, accessibility modifications, plumbing, wiring. Our goal is to preserve our housing stock, to keep our housing stock safe, so that local families can continue living in a place that they can afford and a place that they are really rooted in. Our application aligns really well with CDBG principles and goals in general. We clearly meet the requirements of 2, which include serving low to moderate income households, LMI, and we also prevent blight and deterioration of local housing. So our alignment is pretty clear with CDBG goals locally and nationwide. And I think the last thing I'll say is that we have served, again, this region for 40 years. We've completed 51 projects to date in the city of Bristol, and we lack funds to meaningfully serve Bristol, Virginia residents. There's a long wait list for repair projects. We could put roofs on at least 100 houses in this city if we had the funds. So we come to you requesting the $35,000 just to get our feet wet, to start addressing those needs, and hopefully to leverage this funding source alongside other sources so that we can stretch the dollars further and serve more families. So I thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. All right, next on the list is it Steve Halty or Holly? Hallie, okay. Couldn't tell if it was a T. Come on up. It's okay. It's all right. I got it.
My name's Steve Howley. I live at 214 William Street, Southwest in Abingdon, Virginia. I am the executive director for the Appalachian Independence Center. I'm here to discuss assistance to the CDBG grant. We've been around since 1988. We serve all of Planning District 3. All funds from CDBG are used to help consumers of all ages and with all types of disabilities. 100% of our consumers who receive services from us are people with disabilities, and our services are provided at no charge. There's 16,770 people in the city of Bristol. According to the Americans Community Survey, 21% of those in Bristol have a disability. 12.8% of the population of Virginia has a disability. The past year, AIC has opened 29 consumers to full services, not including other services we provided throughout the community. Core services are advocacy, peer counseling, information referral, independent living skills training, transition services for consumers in nursing homes wanting to move out, youth transition services for students in high school wanting to move on to a higher education of any kind, whether that's at a vocational school or a 2-year college or a 4-year college, excuse me. We have a scholarship that we provide to students. I think we gave out 3 last year for $500. We had 5 applicants, I think, this year. And our board will be the ones voting on that, so hopefully we'll find out soon about that. AIC provides ADA accessibility surveys to local organizations and businesses. We have started an accessible gardening program 4 years ago where we provide a raised bed garden, seeds, plants, flowers, soil, and if they need training or assistance in how to learn how to garden, we provide that also. I think we have 5 applicants from the city of Bristol this year for this program. So we're in our 4th year on that one, coming up. We've assisted multiple consumers in the past year with disabilities with obtaining ramps, showers, grab bars, railings for a walkway, accessible walkways, sidewalks, repair of a sidewalk, loan of portable ramps. We have portable ramps which we loan out to consumers. Walkers, canes, raised commodes, pickup and delivery of emergency food items. We also have a partnership with the Free Foundation of Roanoke, and that's where people donate medical equipment and they refurbish it, and then it is redonated to the community. And we also have a lending closet where we use our own funds to purchase assistive technology of all kinds and give it to the community. We also work in conjunction with the city of Bristol on many occasions to help its residents with accessibility issues throughout the city.
Well, thank you very
I don't know
much.
what my time limit is. I think.
Yes, yeah.
But just want to say thank you for the opportunity.
All right, thank you so much. All right, next on the list is Kathy Rourke.
Good evening. It is absolutely my pleasure to address the council and the city management tonight to thank you for the support of the city of Bristol for the Children's Advocacy Center and for all the children in Bristol. We've been engaged in a little bit of a attic clean out at the CAC, and so I was looking through some old records, and the city has been a part of the Children's Advocacy Center since its inception. And 25 years ago, the city posted a child abuse rate that was 7 times higher than the state average. And it put Bristol at the highest of all of the jurisdictions in the Commonwealth. So many things happened in the city and in the surrounding area to try to address that. And those efforts have really paid off. All the city agencies working together then and working together now have really built a good safety net for our kids. The city should be extremely proud of those efforts because we started at a really hard place. The child abuse rate was like 35 and the state rate was 5. But we can't, even though things have gotten better, we cannot step back on the being vigilant. The safety and sometimes the very lives of kids in our community are at stake. The CAC is a part of a larger system, and we work so closely with the city police department and the Department of Social Services and the prosecutor's office and the school system and other city agencies to put together just a real tight web to support the kids. The CAC's role in this whole process is unduplicated by any other agency. Each agency has a very special role, including ours. And we provide forensic investigation interviews at the request of the police and the Department of Social Services. We provide evidence-based mental health treatment and compassionate victim support. In fact, in this year to date, our fiscal year to date, we have delivered 867 individual services to children and their non-offending caregivers from the city. These are kids who have been victims of sexual abuse. That's the highest of our census. Physical abuse, they've been part of domestic violence. Once again, it is an honor to partner with you, and we appreciate your support.
Thank you very much. Next person on the list is T.J. DeWitt.
Thank you. My name's T.J. DeWitt, and I represent the Bristol Public Library at 701 Good Street. We are applying for CDBG funds for the Homer and Ida Jones Creative Arts, Technology, and Workforce Development Center. Specifically, these funds will be used for workforce development and technology. So we have a computer lab where people can come in and get one-on-one help or class resources for things like creating a resume, applying for jobs, get job training and technology training, which is becoming more and more important to the careers of most people today. I saw a recent statistic that 92% of jobs currently either require or likely require some sort of technology skill. And the more technology skills you gain, the higher income your jobs will produce. So that is one of the things we have been focusing on lately is technology and workforce. So we have a couple of new campaigns that we are engaging with that will be going on through the next fiscal year. One of the ones that we have already started but will continue through all of next fiscal year is a program to develop skills using a Chromebook or similar device, and at the end of the course they get to take home and keep that Chromebook. We found that we ran into a lot of people that were trapped between not having the computer skills they needed because they didn't have experience with a computer, and not being able to or choosing to purchase a computer because they didn't know how to use one. So over the next year and a half, we plan to teach courses and present people with at least 150 Chromebooks, which should contribute significantly to people being able to get jobs and get better jobs. So we thank you for this opportunity for CDBG funds, and I welcome any questions you may have about anything that we do or upcoming campaigns.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next is Aaron Faust and Cindy Rocket.
Mayor, council, staff, friends. I'm Cindy Rocket. I was the executive director of Crossroads Medical Mission, but came tonight to introduce our new executive director. This is Erin Faust, and she's going to present to you this evening.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Excuse me. So, we're representing Crossroads Medical Mission, 433 Scott Street, Bristol, Virginia.
No.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We are really here just to thank you all for your continued support through the years of Crossroads Medical Mission. Most of you, well, a lot of you probably know that we are a free and charitable clinic, and we're actually seeing patients next door as we speak. For over 20 years, we have been providing health care for those in need, delivering services valued at over $33 million in those 20 years. Your support of this grant we are hoping to expand healthcare services to our low-income and extremely low-income residents of Virginia. Also to enhance our Hope at the Crossroads initiative, which is a new program that we are beginning. And the purpose of Hope at the Crossroads is we will connect patients with mental health care support groups, peer support, recovery housing, and community resources for patients needing those services. And together, we hope we can continue making a lasting impact on our community and through healthcare. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And then this one didn't have an agenda item, but I think it is for also this line item. Molly Allen with Girls Inc. Okay.
Hi, everyone. My name is Molly Allen. I'm with Girls Inc. of Bristol. I'm the Director of Fund Development there. We're at 885 Clinton Avenue. We offer after-school and summer programming for girls ages 5 to 18 years old. Our mission is to inspire all girls to be strong, smart, and bold. We do this through 3 core essential services of healthy living, life skills instruction, and academic enrichment. We serve primarily underserved individuals, putting them at a greater risk for food and housing insecurity, incarceration, substance use, teen pregnancy, and not finishing high school. Our aim with these funds is to maintain the mulch depth of our playground for licensure standards. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, I think that's the last one signed up for public comment. I will look for a staff report from Ellen Tolton.
Good evening. The City of Bristol is an annual recipient of federal funding through the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, better known as HUD. The entitlement funding may be spent to develop or sustain viable urban communities by providing decent housing and a suitable living environment, and by expanding economic opportunities, principally benefiting low to moderate income persons. The city's 2025 CDBG budget is being estimated at last year's allocation, $259,696, as the PY 2025 allocation is unknown at this time, and home funds are estimated at around $70,000. This public hearing is being held to inform the city's 2025 CDBG Annual Action Plan and the 5-year Consolidated Plan. Of note, I just wanted to mention that several of the organizations represented this evening have submitted competitive applications for public service funds that are available through the CDBG application. These funds are capped at 15% of the total allocation. This means that approximately $37,000 to $38,000 will be available. Total public service funding requests total over $132,000. I did want to mention as well that this was the second public hearing. There will be a presentation at a later scheduled council meeting to present staff recommendations. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And I will now close the public hearing. Moving to item number 5, parking variance request, number 03-2025, 427 Scott Street, and looking for staff report from Jay Dietrich.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of council. Staff has received a request from Crossroads Medical for a parking variance for their property located at 427 Scott Street. As you can see here, this is basically the aerial of the property. The main building, of course, is at the corner of Scott and Lee Street. Behind that is a house that is being converted, and there is also a proposed addition to this. From my understanding, they will start seeing patients for mental health issues, and of course they serve low to extremely low individuals for these services. I do have a diagram of what they are proposing. In the gray in the front is the existing house. There is an addition to the back of that, and at the top of your drawing there with Powers Alley, they are proposing 4 parking spaces. Currently, under city code, they would be required 9 parking spaces for the services and the square footage of what they're proposing. As you know, the nature of Crossroads is with the low and extremely low income patients, they typically do not have vehicles at this location. Most of them have to depend on either public transit or a friend or even walking or bike transportation to get to this location. City code does permit under section 50-582C gives the council the power to grant a variance from the parking code. So staff recommends approval of the request as requested by Crossroads.
All right, I'm looking for a motion, a second.
I move for approval of the parking variance as requested.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any council discussion on this?
I'll just say, I appreciate, Ms. Rocket, your service there. I know this specifically isn't what we're talking about, but we appreciate the time you've put in, and congratulations on your retirement. And, in general, obviously, Crossroads Medical Mission does a whole lot of great work for a whole lot of people, and these are people who often have very few other options. So for them to be able to expand a service right here in downtown Bristol where the help is needed, and all we have to do is let them have a few less parking spaces than we normally would, I see no problem, so I'm very happy to do it.
I would agree with that. The need is very great. We know that, and we appreciate the work you all do, and just knowing that you can expand that, I'm all for that. So thank you for what you're doing.
And I'll just add to that, we don't talk usually in public comment, but I wanted to add it now while I can, is thank you, Cindy, for all the work and the vision you've had at Crossroads Medical Mission, and thank you so much for taking care of so many of our local residents in need. We certainly appreciate it, and Aaron, we wish you the best in that position, and please let us know if we can assist you in any way.
I'm always leaning towards supporting anything that you do. I was just wondering concerning details with this because we didn't get this sketch in advance. Is there a reason why you wouldn't be able to perhaps add some additional parking spaces on the lower end? Is the lower end where Scott Street is? Would you be able to add a couple of parking spaces there to help fill this in, at least reduce the impact?
Why don't you come on up?
With those, that is the maximum of those. There is no room whatsoever on the lower half of that. Maximum as much as we can, and focusing on ADA access and having access to disabled persons and
So you wouldn't be able to add some parking spaces in that area?
no, we can't really right up to the street.
Okay.
Any more questions or comments? All right. No more discussion. Clerk, please call the roll.
Farnum,
Yes.
Holmes,
Yes.
Osborne,
Yes.
Pollard,
Yes.
Nave,
Yes.
And Madam Mayor, if I may, I know that we've had quite a few of these parking variance requests come in over the last few months. At Planning Commission yesterday, our Planning Commission appointed a subcommittee. We're going to start looking at the parking ordinance itself to see what it can be done to maybe prevent some of these and do some revamping or rewriting of the ordinance as a whole.
Great. Thank you so much for the work on that. All right, item number 6, request for proposals, feasibility study, pre-engineering plan, Mendota Trail to downtown Bristol connector, CD-25-001. We do have one person signed up for public comment, and I would like to ask Dom Richardson to come up.
Good evening, Council. I'd like to talk more about the agenda number 6 here. I do love the idea that we're extending the connector towards State Street. But two meetings ago, I had brought up that I'm for the ban of the bicycles and motorized equipment on sidewalks and such. With this here, I do want to say that we should probably relax our ban on the bicycles and only do it towards State Street, because I think that with the Mendota Trail connector, it's only going to allow more bicyclists and motorized transportation on the sidewalks. That's basically it. I think that we should work alongside of the ban of the bicycles and motorized transportation on sidewalks with this agenda item. I think it goes hand in hand, because it would definitely allow more bicyclists on sidewalks. But that's basically all I just want to bring up here. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, I'll now turn it over to Tamara Spradlin.
Thank you, Mayor Nave and members of council. The request for proposals for feasibility study pre-engineering plan Mendota Trail to downtown Bristol connector CD-25-001 was issued on January 13th, 2025, with sealed proposals due no later than 2:00 p.m. on February 12th, 2025. Addendum 1 was published on January 31st, 2025 to address inquiries and provide updated forms. The request for proposals was advertised on the city's website and Virginia's electronic procurement website, EVA. 5 sealed proposals were received. An evaluation committee consisting of the Director of Public Works, the Director of Community Development and Planning, CDBG coordinator, and the city planner evaluated the proposals based upon the evaluation criteria listed in the request for proposal. The rankings were finalized and competitive negotiation was conducted with the offerer ranked number 1. After negotiations were conducted, Alta Planning and Design Incorporated was found to have the best proposal and the best value for the city. Staff recommends that council authorize the city manager or his designee to enter into a contract with Alta Planning and Design Incorporated per the request for proposal. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Looking for a motion in a second.
I move to approve the request as presented.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. I just have a couple of questions and comments. Where, on the selected firm, where are they from?
Hold on a moment.
Do you-
I've got
I'm
that right
curious.
here. Yes,
Okay.
I'm sorry. I believe they're from Asheville.
Asheville?
Yeah, they're
Okay.
located in Asheville, but a lot of these, a lot of times the people live outside of where their location is.
Right, but that's where their main office is.
Yes.
Okay. I'll just say, first, this is not going to be a cost to our taxpayers. This is something that's covered in a grant that we received through the Tobacco Commission. So I know there's been some questions come up and people have said, why are you paying for this? We don't have money for that. You are right, but we do have a grant that covers specifically for this. And at the end of the day, it is a great opportunity. If the feasibility turns out and we can figure out a way then to get an implementation grant following that to connect Mendota Trail to downtown, and it would be huge. And having it come in at whether it's Cumberland Park and other areas along the way, it could be huge for our downtown, and not only our downtown businesses, but businesses along the way, and also expose people that are riding the trail to Bristol. Because the majority of the trail, as you know, is in Washington County, but we have a beautiful trailhead out right inside the city limits. And I will encourage you, if you haven't been, to check it out. Please go do so. And I look forward to seeing what this feasibility study tells us and what it looks like when we get it back. Any other comments or questions?
I think it's a good sign that the bid is from an engineering firm out of Asheville, and they're working on a bike trail. That's a very good sign. They know what they're doing down there with that stuff. I will say just the concept of having this connector to downtown. As I've mentioned multiple times, I grew up in Damascus. The lifeblood of that town is the Creeper Trail. We've seen over the years what kind of benefit that brings to the downtown, the tourists that it brings, the revenue it brings, just the opportunity. And we've also seen since the storm what happens when the trail is gone. So I'm looking forward to seeing the results of this. I think they'll be positive. Obviously, I'm no expert, so who knows what it is for us exactly, but this is exciting. I think this could be a huge opportunity for the city, especially when the study is free from that grant. So I think this is fantastic, and I'm looking forward to seeing the city work with these folks.
I love green space. I love walkability. I love alternate forms of transportation. We have seen that people really appreciate the Mendota Trail for the short period of time that we've had it here. And in this case, this grant is entirely grant fund. This study is being entirely grant funded. We have seen where the Mendota Trail was almost entirely grant funded. Washington County's taken over maintenance of it, but it was largely independently developed. And if we can tap into that interest for the benefit of our residents as well, making it easier for people to get to the Mendota Trail, for potentially people in other areas, this is likely going to eventually connect to Bristol, Tennessee as well, and we can help those who are like-minded, either in Bristol, Tennessee or in Washington County, to come to and through the city of Bristol and enjoy what we have to offer as well. I think it's a great opportunity, and I am looking forward to seeing what comes of this and what their recommendations are.
All right, thank you. No further discussion. Clerk, please call the roll.
Farnum.
Yes.
Holmes.
Yes.
Osborne.
Yes.
Pollard.
Yes.
Nate.
Yes. All right, next item on the agenda, item E, ordinances, first reading, a request for zoning map amendment number ZMA-2025, a portion of tax map partial 230-6-1 R-1 to B3. No one has signed up for public comment. I'll turn it back over to Jay Dietrich.
Thank you again, Madam Mayor, members of council. Staff has received a request for a zoning map amendment, otherwise known as a rezoning, for a portion of tax map parcel 230-6-1. As you can see on the aerial on your presentation, a couple of the pictures from the front of the property is at Front Stagecoach Road. As you can see, it is level and then has a very steep slope up. From the road to the top of that is about 100 feet as it goes up. And they have about 800 feet of street frontage, so it's a very large parcel of land. So currently the property that's being requested for zoning map amendment is zoned R1, which is single-family residential. The proposal is to rezone a portion of this tax map parcel, 230-6-1, to B3, General Commercial District. If approved, the property, so there is a portion just of their property at the front of Stagecoach Road, which is already Zone B3, as you can see here. So if approved, the property owners would then replat the lot so that the new rezoning area would be combined with this existing B3 area. This would create a 10-plus acre parcel of land fronting Stagecoach Road. The reason for the request is to construct an overnight recreational development in accordance with Section 50-120. It's kind of a fancy name for, in this case, an RV park and maybe some cabins to be constructed in this area. The reason that they need to rezone this portion is that the code also states for an overnight recreational development, you have to have at least 10 acres contiguous. So this would be rezoning about 5 acres, put it with the existing 5 to create that 10. Just going to go through the staff report kind of quickly here from what you heard at the public hearing a couple of weeks ago. There have been no previous similar zoning map requests for this property. However, tax map parcel 190-4-1, which is the B3 section, was rezoned from R1 to B3 in 2018. The Planning Commission did hear this request at their April 21st, 2025 meeting and recommended the council approve the rezoning by a vote of 6-0. The existing land use is a single-family residential, and the existing zone is R1. The future land use map designation is Neighborhood 2. It's about 5.1 acres for the rezoning request. It's residential, trees and grass, basically. Get to the next section here. So as far as the rest of the land uses in this area, there's a mix of residential and commercial in this area. So you do have some single-family homes a little bit further up Stagecoach Road, a few single-family homes at the end of Hickory Drive, which is to the east of this property. But then you also have Ernie Sullivan's Clothing, which is a commercial business, and the properties on Stagecoach Road as you get here, including the village and the properties up there. Consistency with the 2024 comprehensive plan. As I mentioned before, the subject property was listed as Neighborhood 2. Neighborhood 2 areas are mostly constructed post-World War II and more recently. These neighborhoods tend to include larger lots and homes with more car-oriented design and orientation. Streets tend to be wider, less connected, and lack facilities for multiple modes of transportation. I do want to go through the staff comments that we received, again, when the request came in to us. First of all, on local traffic, the Public Works Department has made comments concerning the lane width and asphalt quality on Stagecoach Road, and they have also commented on the projected traffic increases, and I've included those reports in your memo. However, I'm going to wait till my conclusion to go through those points so I don't repeat them. Natural resources, there should be no adverse impacts on natural resources if the proposed rezoning is allowed. Staff will require all environmental related permitting to be obtained and approved prior to development, including soil and erosion control and stormwater management. There should be no adverse impacts on the school system as a result of the request. Did have a comment from Parks and Recreation Superintendent Danny Hill, who said that a new facility for RVs could have an impact to existing rentals at Sugar Hollow Park. Emergency services, Eric Blevins, our fire marshal, commented that hydrant location is acceptable and BVU projected flow rates in this area would be acceptable for this type of use. The change would be acceptable. We had no comments from BVU on water, wastewater, or electric utilities. Stagecoach Road is not currently served by Bristol, Virginia Transit, so it should have no impact. From government services, our economic development specialist, Mac Chapman, commented, I don't see this having a negative impact on property values in the area. They can have a positive economic impact on an area by attracting tourists and generating revenue for businesses. With that said, some things to consider in this particular location, because of the proximity to residential homes, is the increased traffic and potential for noise disturbances. Green spaces or landscaping features may help with potential noise issues. And I do want to just back up a moment, and I neglected to say the plan for the RV cabin development would be for 20 RV spaces and 10 cabins to be constructed. If things are successful, there could be further development, but that's the initial first phase. Our Public Works Director, Jake Chandler, commented that the project most likely will disturb more than 10,000 square feet and 1 acre of land. As such, the applicant will be required to obtain a land disturbance permit and provide stormwater quality treatment and stormwater quantity control. These requirements and the methods of treatment and control will be determined when a site plan is submitted for the project. So staff has reviewed this application and request in accordance with the Code of Virginia and finds the following. Code of Virginia 15.2-2283, as stated entirely earlier in your report, states the purpose of zoning ordinances. They shall be for the general purpose of promoting the health, safety, or general welfare of the public. This code section gives 12 purposes that shall be followed when a locality creates a zoning ordinance. Code of Virginia 15.2-2284, also stated in its entirety earlier in the report, informs a locality what shall be considered when applying these 12 purposes. The factors listed in this section of the code have been evaluated by various members of city staff as well as Bristol, Virginia utilities in their respective field of expertise and have been documented in the impact section of the report that I just read. The primary factor which staff identified as a potential issue with the request is that traffic impact as it relates to the condition of Stagecoach Road. So the two separate documents I mentioned earlier, as they relate to the impact of an overnight recreational development. The first, which is referred to as the initial analysis, describes the current conditions of Stagecoach Road and the impact of adding 20 RV spaces and 10 cabins for short-term rental. As mentioned in the report, Stagecoach Road is a two-lane street with no curbs and shoulders, and each lane measuring 10 feet in width. Based on the average occupancy rate of the proposed use, it is projected to generate an additional 6 vehicle trips during the AM peak hour and 10 vehicle trips during the PM peak hour. So as you can see, it's not a high traffic producing type of use. The second document, which is referred to as current road conditions, discusses the specific physical condition of Stagecoach Road and what would be expected of the developer if the rezoning is approved and the project advances. According to the report, one of 3 things should happen to Stagecoach Road to improve access to the site. One would be to widen the lanes from 10 feet to 11 feet. 2 would be to keep the lanes 10 feet but add a 2-foot shoulder on each side. And 3, widen the westbound lane to 12 feet to improve safety near the guardrail against the interstate right-of-way. The report also goes into detail showing the impact that heavy vehicles could have on Stagecoach Road. The asphalt on Stagecoach Road from Wagon Wheel Drive to the proposed development is brittle and might not withstand the turning movements into the site. And while the majority of any work to be done to Stagecoach Road is not the responsibility of the applicant, Public Works would require improvements at the frontage of their property and most likely some wider driveway entrances to accommodate the need for larger turning radii during the site plan process. It should also be noted that the applicant could use the existing 5-acre parcel, which is currently Zone B3, for any use that is permitted in that zoning district. And most of these proposed uses would generate significantly higher traffic than an overnight recreational development, with cars and heavy vehicles included. So while this is one of the larger properties in the city limits, this section of it is limited to development by its location and its topography. As I mentioned before, the property is mostly level as it adjoins Stagecoach, but then rises approximately 100 feet to the proposed rezoning boundary area. This would make it unsuitable for a larger scale single-family residential development. An overnight recreational development is a creative way to increase the economic base of the city on a parcel of land that is not otherwise conducive to business or residential development. The area for the request is a bit more rural in nature than most areas of the city, which would minimize the impact on the neighborhood from an overnight recreational development. Access would not be permitted through the Hassan Heights neighborhood, so there would be minimal impact on the existing residential uses. So using the standards and factors set forth in Code of Virginia, sections 15.2-2283, 2284, and 2285, staff recommends that the City Council approve the zoning map amendment on first ordinance reading. And I will state that the applicants are here, Mr. Paul Moss and Lisa Moss, in case there are any questions that I can't answer for you. So.
All right, wonderful, thank you. Well, before we get into council discussion, look for a motion and second for the first reading of the ordinance, full or by caption.
I move, go ahead.
Move to approve first reading by caption only.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second by caption only. I'll just start out and just say, I do really like this project. I do think it fills a gap that we have. I know we have some spaces at Sugar Hollow, but I think for some of the larger motor homes that are looking for a spot to pull off on 81 and have that overnight stay, if you're familiar with this at all, any of them that you pass anywhere up and down the highway or anywhere, always full. It seems like they've got these big, beautiful motor homes sitting there. So I also like the idea of the cabins and think that adds a great touch to it. So I appreciate you all coming forward with this request, and I really, really like it. I will open it up for, I did have a question, but I can't remember what it was right off, so I'll open it up to you all for any questions or comments.
I do have a couple things. Thank you, Mr. Dietrich, for your presentation. Obviously, one of my main concerns has been the road, and I know Mr. Chandler's talked about that. Another question that I had, kind of unrelated to that, do we have a length of time that you can stay in an RV park, like a maximum time?
Yes, the code stipulates 30 days or fewer.
Okay.
So it is a truly transient type of use.
Because I know that, like, for instance, that RV park in Piney Flats, you can live there.
Right.
So this is not a case where you can be there a month max.
That is correct.
I think this is a very good project overall. I know that several years ago we talked about an RV park and there was significant pushback from the neighborhood, and we've not really heard any of that whatsoever in this case, because it's very different. It has much better access, I think. I think it sounds like it's going to look really nice. I think it'll be a good addition for our city to have, and I think it's an ideal location for it. So my only concern remains the road, and I know those will have to be addressed. I'm sure we'll come back to that at some point, but otherwise, very good project, I think.
Does this property have water and sewer?
Well, there's water and sewer available. Any extension, of course, of the water and sewer lines would be at the developer's expense.
So that was a big problem with the other proposal that we had a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm. The comment from the fire marshal about having hydrant locations and flows did that. And, as you know, there are some other residences in this area that at the end of Stagecoach Road, so there is a line that goes through there.
What did you say the specific recommendation was by the Planning Commission? Was it unanimous?
Yes, 6-0. There was one member missing.
I'll just add, I think this is a great project. It's a great use of space, as others have mentioned. Excited that you guys are doing this. Looking forward to seeing it come to fruition. Thank you all.
All right, with no further discussion, I'll ask the clerk. Did you want to say something? Oh, okay. Okay, making sure. I'll ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Farnum,
Yes.
Holmes,
Yes.
Osborne,
Yes.
Pollard,
Yes.
Nave.
Yes. And reading of the ordinance by caption only.
Ordinance number 25-3, an ordinance by the City Council of Bristol, Virginia, approving the request to amend the city zoning map from single-family residential to R1 to General Business District B3 for a portion of tax map parcel 230-6-1.
All right.
The conditions
Thank you.
I'll take out for the next one.
Oh, okay.
Typo.
No problem. All right. Thank you, and thank you for the very detailed report, Jay, and all the work that you put into that. All right. Next item is matters to be presented by members of the public, non-agenda items, and we do not have anyone signed up. Moving to the consent agenda.
I move for approval of the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
All right. We have a motion and second for the consent agenda. Clerk, please call the roll.
Madam Mayor, may I add a comment? I know we normally don't do that.
Sure.
I think Chief Ashbrook has left, but just want to say thank you for his work on the mutual aid agreements. It's great to see, he's brand new, sorry, I didn't see you
There
back
he
there,
is.
sorry. You're jumping in, you're kind of building these relationships, working hard with our neighbors. Just thank you for all you're doing. I've been getting some feedback, nothing but good things, so thank you for all you're doing.
Yeah, I will echo that for nothing but wonderful things, and we appreciate all the work that you're doing for the city, for our community and the residents, and there's not hardly a day that goes by that I do not hear some kind of great remarks about the work that you're doing. So thank you to you and all that you're bringing to this, to our city. All right, no additional comments. Clerk, please call the roll.
Farnum.
Yes.
Holmes.
Yes.
Osborne.
Yes.
Pollard.
Yes.
Nave.
Yes. And I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
I move that we now adjourn.
Second? Anybody?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Clerk, please call the roll.
Farnum.
Yes.
Holmes.
Yes.
Osborne.
Yes.
Pollard.
Yes.
Nave.
Yes, we are adjourned.